Hey everybody, Preston Brent here with our Trader User Group Weekly Roundup through the end of trading week, December 22nd, 2017. Wow, what a year we've had. What a year the markets have had. It's one of those kind of years that's going to go down in the record books. We've had all-time highs in the Dow, over what, 70 new all-time highs for the year. Really amazing. We've had this synchronization across all global markets, from Asia Pacific to European to US markets. And a lot of people are asking, can this thing continue into 2018? Can we continue the same torrid pace? I believe that the market's going to offer up a number of surprises in different asset groups, asset classes next year. And we here at Tug, our Tuggers, we're going to take advantage of it and have another really great bang out year like we had this year. If you're not in our user group, I would highly encourage you. I put an offer out there, a year-end holiday offer. That's not going to last more than another week or so, maybe 2 weeks tops. Excuse me, that you should take advantage of because it's going to get you into our secret trader as well. It's like a double offer. And you'll be able to participate with us in all the trades that we're doing, like oil, where we've been just knocking the ball out of the park month after month in the oil markets. And then we've been doing a lot of other great things across the equity market as well. Next year, we're going to also be introducing a number of different portfolio sizes that you can follow along to make it easier for a lot of you. If you have, some of you may have, you're just starting out and you've got smaller portfolios. Others may have larger portfolios. So we're going to be covering a number of those things, as well as portfolio margin. So it's one of those things you just don't want to pass up. I do believe we're just going to have a great year. Now, next week, which is the last week of the year and the first week of the new year, we go on holidays here at our user group. I always recommend everybody get away from the markets for at least a week or so to kind of clear your head. It's always a good thing to do because it's so damn hard to pull yourself away during the year. But year end and year begin are usually pretty good times. And then you're not going to get a weekly roundup from us next week. And then probably the week after that, and then we'll pick it back up. Our first meeting coming up, if you're a Trader User Group member, it's going to be on January the 7th in the night time, our weekly Market Watch Sunday night, where we're going to go into our secret trader for 2018 as we kick that off. And we're going to take a look at what opportunities I see across various asset classes in 2018. I do believe there'll be some surprises as well. Now, taking a look at where we are this year, I mean, I really don't need to just belabor the point, but it's just been a really great year. We have been all year long by the dip. And I know since about the summer months of this year, a lot of people started coming out saying, we got to short the market. We got to short the market. Don't buy the dip. It's going to eventually roll over. And everybody's been forecasting that all year long. And if you've been trying to play the short end side of the stick or these counter moves, you haven't had a really good year. Granted, you may have made a couple of bucks in a short-term swing trade, but you basically want to be long all year long. And that's what we've been touting here at our user group. If you've been following my weekly roundups, that's what you've also seen, me being long, where I've been saying buy the dip all year. You can see this channel. We've only broken out to the north just a couple of times, and we're breaking out again this year. In fact, we broke out a little bit in March of this year, and then you can see we're starting to break out here as we go through the last 3 weeks of December. As I said, as we went into the beginning of December, statistics and stats showed that if you hit December the 1st, where we're up already 10% for the year going into DC1, then that means the odds favor an 80% chance of finishing the year from that point on DC1 up 2.5% for the month. So we've had that big move. I had forecasted the markets would hit probably around 2,700 just to hit that number before the end of the year. We hit 2698. Remember, we got one more week left. I've wound down most of my trades, a few that I'll just kind of manage and massage as we go through the end of the year, beginning a new year, and then we'll be ready to start fresh. But you can see here, There are no divergences. There's nothing here that to me would suggest we've changed the trading regime or the trading environment from a buy the dip to a sell the rally. We're still in a buy the dip, folks. We've got a lot of momentum carrying our way. And just as a reminder, we got the Feds coming up third week in January, and we get a first look at first pass numbers on Q4 GDP, where the forecast is already to be higher than the prior quarter of over 3%. So let's just see what we're going to find here. And you can see here, Nasdaq Futures, we made a new all-time high there this week. We're close to these new all-time highs. You can see in the Russell Futures, we're just plowing away. We're near all-time highs as we finish the year there. You can see in the Dow Futures right here, again, we're near all-time highs here on the Dow Futures here that we made this past week. You can also see that the transports, look at the transports, guys. We blew through a huge resistance zone here, this colored bar. We blew through it, and we made new highs in the transports on Thursday and Friday of this week. So that just, excuse me, confirms the highs across the Dow, the transports, really very strong. And then I need to show you the global markets. Vanguard's VEU, the All World Index. We made highs here for the year earlier this week. And again, the same channel, same moving up here from a global perspective. So we've had a really strong time. And then if I show you the mid cap market right here with the ETF MDY, again, near the 2017 highs. I show you Japan. If we look at Japan, you can see here the markets are up near the high price of Japan for the Nikkei for the year for 2017, doing very strong. The only one that's showing just a little bit of weakness as we go into the end of the year is China. You can see here we had all-time highs in China back in the third week of November, and we've just settled in just a little bit here. But by and large, we've had a very, very strong synchronized growth this Q4. Okay, and momentum is hard to stop globally. It's very hard to stop. We may run sideways a little bit, rest a little bit. Trading volume next week is going to be very light. Going into the new year, it's traditionally light until we get into about the middle of January, when all the traders and the big boys start jockeying for Q1 and repositioning of their portfolios. So basically, we've had a really great year. Volatility, we're at 9.9. It was up just a little bit, but we're still, we've been suppressed with volatility. In fact, 2017 was one of the lowest vol years we've had on record. Much lower than the average that we've had before we put all this money to work in stimulus globally. And keep in mind, and I've gone through this in detail with our members, and we're going to do it again in our option masters. In the bond market, I don't care if you trade bonds or not. You've got to follow interest rates. You've got to follow what's happening in treasuries and government bonds globally. It tells you where money is going to flow and what money expects to happen with interest rates and inflation in the coming 12 to 24 months. And that is also going to be a big factor that's going to drive equities. Now, we're going to get into that in much more detail in our weekly Market Watch January 7th, which is why if you're not a member, I highly encourage you to come in. We've had a really great year this year. And I think next year is going to probably offer up even more opportunities for us. If we look at currencies, well, and I go from the dollar right here, we're going to have a really interesting trade setup in the dollar for 2018, and we're going to have a really interesting trade setup in the euro. And here's the euro for 2018. I think it's going to offer up some really interesting opportunities. And then, of course, in the British pound, you guys know my thoughts on the British pound. It's been a trade that I've been talking about being long pretty much since the early part of this year with the problems with the Brexit. And I said it's going to be choppy, but it's going to be choppy up. And there are a number of different ways to play this kind of move. We've already closed down one trade for profits, and we're looking at stepping back up to the bar again and ordering another round of drinks. So you want to be a part of that. And then, of course, if we look at gold, well, you know my feeling on gold. Um, when we tried to get through 1300 here, I said it was going to break and fall down, and that's what we've done. We formed on a daily chart a 3-4-5 pattern, Elliott wave pattern that suggests um, we did punch through the 250 EMAs here on this chart. That would be the red line and the yellow line. I do believe that we're kind of long in the tooth on this move higher. I still think 1300 is going to be a cap for us. I'm not going to be interested in longs and gold until or unless we take out 1300. So we're defining a very wide, choppy range, and we're still in a down move, but we're in a counter trend up on an overall down move. And silver looks a little bit worse for wear. If you look at the daily chart in silver, we're trying to take out a key downsloping trend line. And you can see this downsloping trend line goes all the way back to the summer of this, goes back to the summer of 2016. So you can see here, we still got a lot of momentum wanting to push silver and gold lower. If we get some early breakouts, there could be some really interesting plays to the upside in both these securities. Near term, I'm staying away. Oil, very good for us for the past 22 trades. We're 22 for 22 in oil. And we're getting ready to shut down probably in the next week or two our 23rd trade in the series, our oil series trades. Just those trades alone, we've just about doubled your money. And just that alone is worth a ticket to ride in our user group. But this is kind of where we're sitting here in this one. If you do decide to come in and make these plays with us, you must be able to trade options on futures. So you can't do it in a 401k account or an IRA account. You need to set up money. But I've set these up so we're going to have different portfolio sizes from around 6,000 or 7,000 all the way up to about 100,000 different portfolio sizes. So even if you can put a $6,000 or $7,000 together and just create a cash account on it, we're looking to double that amount. Now of course this is where we've been. There's no guarantees for the future, but just looking at the trading regime in oil, I think it's going to give us it looks like it's going to give us the same regime that we've had before. And you can see this downward move here. It's a daily chart that started in March. We hit the year flat, and then we started moving down in a very choppy fashion. And then we started moving up with some huge down moves. And in this entire time here on this chart, we've had success. We've had winners in all of them. And I think it's going to continue into 2018 clearly. We're also in gasoline. You can see the gasoline trade here. We've had a breakout to the upside in gasoline. As I said, the trigger in this for long in the futures market is breaking the regression channel down. I've got a target up here of about 194. The key for me is going to be taking out this key pivot here at 179. And then we've got one other key pivot here that I'm just going to mark for you right in that area there at 183. All right, so this all bodes well for gasoline and oil going into 2018. Now, we've got some other really interesting things we're going to be looking at in 2018 in the agricultural market, softs and meats. So just a really fun year coming up, guys. So if you're not in our user group, I highly encourage you to come in, take advantage of it. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to make money. Always making money is having fun in our book. We manage our risk. Our risk is managed to the down to the risk of the biggest move, and then we go from there. All right, everybody, I will be off on vacation next week, so I'd like to wish everybody out there, all of our listeners, users, members, and our international audience, because we got folks all over the world listening to us, have a great Merry Christmas. And whatever religion you are, have a great Happy New Year with friends and family. Enjoy it, and we will pick everything back up again with our members Sunday night, January 7th. I'll probably get a weekly roundup out that weekend, that first full weekend in January. Otherwise, check the offer that I've got included in this email or this invite here for this weekly roundup. You definitely want to be a part of us for 2018. Have a great holiday season, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. See you guys later. Ciao, folks.